It is SEC Rivalry Week, Egg Bowl, Iron Bowl, clean old-fashioned hate. We got playoff berths on the line and some more Lane Kiffin drama. Time to get the SEC squad together.
You're talking ball with the SEC squad. From Alabama to Tennessee, from Georgia to Oklahoma, from Auburn to Texas, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming SEC weekend. It's the SEC squad, and we have a seat for you. Hurt feelings and thin skin are prohibited. Squad up, you're part of the SEC squad.
The big questions I've been getting the last few weeks is, where's everybody at? Why has the squad only got a couple people? Well, it is Rivalry Week, and we have got a full house. Let's welcome in our squad. We got Jay Smith from Locked On Sooners. We got Brandon Olsen, Locked On Gators. Stephen Willis, Locked On Ole Miss. Chris Marler from Locked On Gamecocks. We got Eric Kane, Locked On Vols. Jimmy Stein, Locked On Bama. And Corey Burton, Locked On Vandy. Gents, good to see you all. Good to be here. Let's start as we do every week. Let's start with a prediction. Give me a prediction for your team this week. Jay, let's start with you.
Oklahoma does not allow another touchdown for the second week in a row.
I think that's pretty fair. That defense
I
is
think it's pretty easy. That was low-hanging fruit.
Not bold.
My prediction is Digo Pavi is going to show up.
Basically.
The LSU offense, I don't know. I don't even know how this is possible. It keeps getting worse, so I don't know how it gets worse. But
yeah, I can't relate to that one at all, for sure. Definitely can't relate to that. Hey, Eric, remember last week when I was like, Tennessee hasn't held an SEC opponent to under 30 points. And then we got 11, so there's that.
I mean, that just goes to show you how bad Florida's offense is. I mean, just
I know. Just imagine when we get Lane Kiffin on Saturday.
It's going to fix everything.
Yep.
Let me also remind everybody, today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. Brandon, you guys are playing a rivalry game at FSU. They're locked in. Mike Norvell's coming back.
First off, so happy about that. Good job. So happy. I've never been happier about coaching news. And look, I like Mike, but you're not cut out for this big dog, but I'm glad you're here. I really appreciate that one. This is going to be one of the ugliest football games anyone has ever seen. And I think of the 8 of us up here, only one of us is actually going to watch it. And I'm very jealous of the 7 of you that don't have to watch it.
Is it the Sicko Bowl round?
Oh, my goodness. I mean,
I love that last week all the Florida fans were like, no one packs the house 90,000 plus to watch Florida football. And it was like, it's 31-0 within 12 seconds.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, they stayed. They stayed until we won't back down, and then they left, and it was a good show, man. I mean, they were getting beat 31-3. That whole place came alive. That was the best part about the night. I put it on Twitter. I said it's easily the best fourth quarter song, and Tennessee fans were hating on me for that, and I'm like, well, it's fact. Man, it's the best fourth quarter song, and then they all left. So I'll give them props for that.
They even on the broadcast, they were like, "Oh, yep," and there everybody goes. Once it played, they were like, "Oh, there everybody goes." I mean, it's if you ever get the chance to experience that in person, it's incredible.
Yeah. I'm hoping this coming season, next year, we come to Florida. So Oklahoma, hopefully we get a chance to experience that at night. That would be fun.
I think that's one of the games I'm heading to. So
Brandon, give me a prediction for your game.
Yeah, you've been talking for 5 minutes.
Dude. Oh, no, my prediction wasn't for the game. We're hiring Lane Kiffin on Saturday. That's my prediction. That's it.
Okay. All right.
That's all I have to say. That's it.
What time's the game?
We're riding the Lane train here.
Is it
well, then I will go to Stephen Willis next. Stephen, prediction for your team.
We get to talk about football Friday, and that would be awesome to talk about an Egg Bowl when you have potentially the greatest regular season that Ole Miss football has ever had. Nobody is talking about this football game and what can happen. And that is an absolute shame because of all this other noise that is going on. I think we're going to talk about football, and at the end of the day, there's going to be a little bit of happiness for everybody in that game for potentially a home playoff game.
Okay. I gotcha. I mean, look, the good thing is they're the first game out of the gates by Friday afternoon, Ole Miss's the regular season's done, and then we'll see what happens next.
That's always been my favorite part about the Egg Bowl is it used to be Thanksgiving night, and it was just out of the way, and you could just watch Rivalry Week, everything after that. That is amazing.
Why do we not do that on Thanksgiving anymore? Like who
got to clear room for Navy versus Memphis. Got to clear the deck for Navy Memphis, and everybody else has to do their games.
Yeah. And the NFL has kind of taken over into the night games on Thanksgiving. It used to be we only had 2 day games in the NFL, but they get the night game now and take full ownership. Marler, man, South Carolina, Clemson, the record stinks for Carolina, but still might mean something to knock off Clemson.
I mean, yeah, you can't really ruin their season more than they've already ruined it themselves. So finishing 5-7, listen, I think it's a crap season, but you also have a lot to look forward to in the offseason if you can win 3 of the last 4. I think the big question for me is if the offense looks anywhere close to what it looked like for Coastal Carolina in one half against A&M, then does Mike Ferry get the nod for the OC position, or does Shane Beamer do what he should do and actually take a look at other coaches around the country?
Yeah, that one will be it will be interesting. Eric Kane, a prediction for Tennessee, trying to play spoiler.
Yep, Tennessee is going to rush for over 200 yards over the Commodores. That 105 rush defense, 5th in the SEC. I think that's a skewed stat. Tennessee's ran for 280 yards or more in 3 of the 4 matchups against the Commodores under Josh Heupel. I think Tennessee's going to run the football at home on Saturday and ruin any chances of Vanderbilt getting into the CFP.
Corey Burton, I don't know why you and Jimmy switched boxes, but give me a prediction for
I have no
Vandy.
control over that.
He's trying to go over and punch me in the face.
Yeah, there we go. Eric and I got to be next to each other. So, all right. I think Diego's going to go for over 300 again, and have a big night through the air, and that's going to lead to a lot of broken hearts at Neyland Stadium. So, yeah, there you go.
It would be a monster win. Jimmy Stein, Iron Bowl. Got a prediction for Bama?
Yeah, I think 2 things this game delivers. Not many upsets. People don't realize that. Whenever I hear a national guy say, well, when these 2 meet, throw out the record book, I know that national guy has no idea what he's talking about because the better team almost always wins this game. There are very few upsets in the history of the Iron Bowl. I don't think there'll be one Saturday, but I do think the Iron Bowl will deliver yet another classic fourth quarter. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be some classic game with a name attached to it, whether it's the grave digger or the kick 6 type thing. I think it'll be classic, and I think it'll be close, but the better team almost always wins this game.
Well, let's start there with the Iron Bowls. We're going to get into previewing some of these games. To me, I mean, this is the game of the weekend. If you could only pick one to watch, this would be the one for me because
Florida FSU, man, that's all.
you have Auburn playing with house money, like you got nothing to lose here, and you got Bama with everything to lose. If you win, you're going to Atlanta, chance at a playoff. If you lose, you're out. Marla, I saw you shaking your head. What do you think?
I think Bama rolls them, dude. I think this entire idea. I love what Jimmy said, and I trust Jimmy more than I trust myself with most things, except for partnering with Luke on that podcast because that's a wild card for sure. I think the idea that we have said here, like everyone talks about the kick 6, everyone talks about 2019, these are all things that were like the craziest of anomalies that had to happen for Auburn to like eke out a win. We're allowed to say the A word. They got their ass beat by Kentucky. They got their ass beat by Oklahoma. They got their ass beat by Georgia. They got their ass beat by 3 other teams. Their biggest wins are close losses. Bama's a better team. I think the sky is falling from the Oklahoma game when they had Oklahoma beat them outright and deservingly so. But when you have 3 turnovers and a missed field goal and you have all those things, if they don't play like that, which I wouldn't expect them to, I think that they'll be fine. Oklahoma's the best defense in America. So I don't think that Auburn, I think as good as they are from a roster standpoint, I don't think that Alabama's going to go in there and turn the ball over 3 times. And whenever you have to rely on, well, it's really spooky here at night, guys. It gets really scary here when the lights go down. Then that just makes it hard for me to take it seriously. And I know what the history is, but over the last 5 years, the history has been beating Auburn. And I think they'll do it again. I think they'll do it by 14 points.
Does anybody like Auburn?
This is shaping up to be an all-timer.
I mean,
If
I like Auburn because I have to, because Auburn needs to clear Alabama out of the way. I mean, it's just all it's just all blind hope. But
so is Auburn.
whether it actually happened, I don't think so. But
I'm going to pick something with my heart right here, because if Auburn beats Alabama and Texas beats Texas A&M, a Manning and Derek Nix, the offensive coordinator that spent 20 years at Ole Miss, would be directly responsible for sending Ole Miss to Atlanta potentially. And Ole Miss doesn't want to go to Atlanta, but this would be the year that it would happen.
Man, I keep going back and forth on this one. And Jimmy and I, we did a preview earlier this week, and he had some pretty interesting, perspective on this. I just look at that Alabama offense. That guys has just not been great the last few weeks, and I just wonder if Ashton Daniels, who had a spike against Vandy, is there a Deuce Knight wrinkle in here that they put him in? I wonder if this thing is in the 20s. I think that is advantage Auburn.
Do you know who has the best defense in the SEC this year for yards per game?
That'll be Alabama. Alabama's number one total defense. But I would admit, I tweeted that, and gosh, the Oklahoma people just filled my mind. They did not like that I tweeted the fact that Alabama's number one total defense. I've never said Alabama's got the best defense in the league. I believe that's Oklahoma. I've said that Oklahoma's got the best defense, but Alabama does lead the league in total defense. I think Alabama's got the second best defense in the league.
Yeah. I think I meant it from mainly a numbers point. I agree with you. They looked great last week against Mercer, who's 9-1 in the FCS. Love making Georgia, but also the fact that this is the sample size you're giving with Auburn. It's a 2-game sample size, and again, I've heard Cam Coleman, I've heard Kendrick Falk. Those are really good players. They might be the best player in their position in the country for both those guys. You still got to get somebody that's going to get it to them. And you're talking about an offense that's like 76 in the country in third down offense. Alabama's one of the best teams in the country at that. As long as Bama doesn't turn the ball over, I don't think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I agree with that. And to even add to that, Bama being number one in the conference in passing yards allowed at 148 against a team that now just named Ashton Daniels as the quarterback again, flip-flopping it, which I understood why they played Deuce Knight against Mercer. You're still preserving Ashton Daniels' red shirt. So he plays this week. This is only game 4. He can come back next season if they actually want to do that, which would be probably smart. But at the same time, I don't know how he's going to fare against this Alabama defense. So, yeah, I'm leaning too heavily on Alabama just going ahead and dog-walking them this game.
Let's do a moment of truth. Raise your hand if you're going to take Auburn in the upset at Jordan-Hare. We got one.
Or you got to.
I have to. I just have to. It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
You need it.
I don't think it will. It's got to happen.
Inject it in your veins.
Kane Womack, belt to ass. Simple as that.
Take the job at Arkansas right afterwards.
Yeah.
Let me push it a step further. If Bama gets to the SEC championship game, plays A&M or Georgia, whoever, and they lose, should Bama be out of the playoff with a third loss, or do you look at it and say conference championship runner-up is in no matter what?
Oh yeah, they're in. They should
need to be
to
in.
me.
Yeah.
It only makes sense if they're right now in the playoffs, they win, and then they play in the conference championship. That should not be a thing that knocks them out because they were already in the top 12, top 10 basically. So. Yeah, no, that to me should not be a thing that eliminates you.
You're playing an extra game, and you're playing an extra game against the other best team in the conference, the toughest conference in the land.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
You will have some Miamis and Notre Dames and those schools saying we're 10-2. We deserve to be in.
Well, they're wrong.
They're playing a conference championship then.
Notre Dame will be in. Notre Dame is in no matter what. Notre Dame will be in no matter what. I don't think that Miami as the brand would end up getting the nod over Alabama, especially if they the extra data point is them losing, especially if it's to a team that's like A&M that is undefeated or a Georgia team they've already beaten once. I don't, I said this a couple weeks ago, and I'm sure it has a bazillion bookmarks. I did the smart thing. I said it on Twitter. I hit the mute button, and then I never looked back at it. But that is, I think Bama was going to go win last week. I think they're going to win this week. I think they're going to beat Texas A&M. I think none of this is going to matter. And that's not like a shot at A&M. I think that the sky is falling idea that happened after that Oklahoma game was a little bit dramatic and drastic because that's a playoff team too. So I think, dude, I think there are 5 legitimate cases to be made for the SEC getting teams into the playoff, and hosting too. With buys or hosting, I think all those teams are very deserving. And dude, if Vandy goes 10-2, Like, I don't think there's a path for them to get in this weekend.
With their only losses at Alabama and at Texas. If you'd have told me a 10-2 SEC team doesn't make it with 2 road losses to Alabama and Texas, that's insane to me. Especially with a Heisman guy at quarterback. It's nuts. But at the same time, when you look at the field, like, well, who should be out? You know, who you kicking out to put them in?
It's hard to sit here and it probably doesn't do like a lot of good to look back at last year and compare it, because there's 2 different years, and like you just said, like there's really good teams I think from each year. But I thought last year, I thought Ole Miss at 9-3 was like one of the most deserving teams, and would have been awesome to see in the playoff against like those types of games, and scheming up against those types of defenses. This year you look at it and like you can use the same argument, like, yeah, listen, they're 10-2 and they have, but like the argument against us, well, who's our best win? I don't know. Who's our quality losses? And that's not a great argument to have. But that's all we're doing for Notre Dame. Like, that's all we're doing for Notre Dame is that, like, well, they had 2 really close losses, and because that helmet's really gold and shiny, they're going to get in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My hot take on that is that
Vanderbilt has a really nice shiny gold helmet too. So.
Yeah, agreed. They got to take the V off, dude.
Very good point. My hot take on this though is that if Bama goes in, knocks off Texas A&M, and BYU knocks off Texas Tech, that Notre Dame gets slid out.
Ooh. All right. Well,
that's a scenario.
We will see. Just remember, committee, that stupid committee up in Dallas, led by Hunter Yurachek, 6'7".
That was unreal.
Just remember, who have you beaten? They never ask that question. They always go to losses. Who have you beaten? Look at the resume. You have a good resume of wins.
Ole Miss has been dropped after their Citadel game and their bye week, and they have 2 wins against teams in the playoff field right now, and their only losses to the number 4 team in the country, and they drop them every single time.
Yeah.
Well, Ole Miss should be ahead of Texas Tech and Oregon, in my opinion. I don't really have a dog in that fight, but Ole Miss should be ahead of both.
The Texas Tech thing made sense. We talked about it in the group. I thought it made sense then because it's like FCS was a ranked team. But dude, like that, the Oregon thing is mind blowing because they have 1 win against a ranked team, and it happened this week. And they're like, no, dude, look at the metrics. And real quick, Gordy, I know you're trying to go to break, but I'm not going to let you. The idea that the FPI,
we're going overtime.
We talk about the FPI all the time. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's so stupid. Look at the FPI rankings. That's the same group of numbers that puts together strength of record, strength of schedule, and all the efficiency metrics for that the playoff committee is looking at. And we're like, no, that makes sense. You said Notre Dame's the 5th most efficient team in the country. I know what goes into that and what that means. That makes total sense to me.
All right. Well, we will get into more of the games here on Rivalry Week. This is the SEC squad. More squad talking ball next.
And another thing.
First, I want to remind you guys, it is our friends at FanDuel. The NBA is rolling along. You've got action every night. Look, it's rivalry weekend. There are all those games up there at FanDuel.com right now. And look, even if you miss the start of a game, you could jump in. They got live bets. FanDuel's got everything on there. You can combine live bets. You can do same-game parlays. Look, I like to parlay some of these upsets. You like Auburn to win the Iron Bowl? Why don't you parlay that with, I don't know, take LSU to beat Oklahoma, or take Vandy to lose to Tennessee.
Why are you just naming
No. Don't do that.
These might be
take that. That's fine.
These might be bets you like up at FanDuel.com. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com, get signed up, play your game with FanDuel, and of course, they are the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Be like Brandon Olsen. Be like Corey Burton. Get in there and sign up at FanDuel.com today. All right, gents, as we roll back on here, the squad talking more ball. And, Steven, I'm going to go to your Egg Bowl. I mean, look, all the Lane Kiffin talk, we'll touch on that in a second, but give me a football perspective. How much does Mississippi State scare you? Jeff Lebby, they know if they win this game, they're going bowling.
Yeah, the one thing that scares me is there's nothing more dangerous than a five-win Egg Bowl team going into that game. The weirdness happens more often than it doesn't, but Jeff Lebby and Mississippi State's going to try and exploit Ole Miss's secondary and try and make some explosive. As Ole Miss can keep that down, they're going to be all right because they're better on the offensive and defensive line than Mississippi State. And generally in the SEC, if you're better on the offensive and defensive lines, you're going to win the game more often than not.
It's do you guys think there's any of the lost focus, right? All the distractions of Lane Kiffin, does Ole Miss come out not as focused and this is a close game?
I mean, I honestly don't think so because, again, like you can't – in this era, you can't ignore the outside noise. Like, this is nothing new. Now, I understand your head coach is literally everywhere, and everybody's talking about your head coach and this and that. But, I mean, you see this stuff. You can't escape this stuff anyway. Also, like, Steven, I saw some of the Ole Miss players tweet, like, we live in such a weird drunk time, and it's awesome if you're not a part of it. But, like, you have these players like, oh, no, fans, we're focused. We're ready to go. Like, it's so bizarre, man. It's weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think they're going to be bothered by it, but I did think those Twitter posts were just a little bit like weird. Like, of course you are. I mean, like you're a young person. You're playing football. It's a weird situation, obviously.
A young person on social media.
Yeah, one of the players left the quotation marks in the Chat GPT dash in that post as well. So
yeah, I totally wrote this.
Yeah, this is definitely 100%. From the players.
We're right now, as we're recording this, guys, and this will be out Thursday afternoon, so maybe we have some clarity by then. Maybe we still don't, but what's the gut feeling on you guys and where Lane Kiffin is headed?
I think he's staying.
Me too.
I don't know why. Steven, why? Again, I'm on the outside looking in. Like, why would you come out with your AD and say, yeah, we're going to let everybody know what the future plans are Saturday or like whatever, like only to be like, hey, I'm going to Florida or I'm going to LSU. Again, like maybe a decision's not made yet, but I think at this point, like if he stayed at Ole Miss, I would not be shocked whatsoever.
The counterpoint is if you were going to stay, why say we're going to make the announcement after the Egg Bowl?
Yeah, because he could have signed it immediately, and they would have went out and won by 40 points.
Then we wouldn't have a conversation about they might be distracted by an announcement coming
up. He's the ultimate troll. Love the attention.
But listen, LSU has been supremely confident in this. Florida has been unreal confident in this. And today, the only thing that makes me even question whether or not he would say or not, as we record this on Tuesday, today was like a nuclear bomb went off on his public image. And
so there's an extension on the table right now, right?
Yes, he could sign it at any point. Any point he could sign it.
Every other coach has signed their extension, right?
He enjoys trolling, man. Yeah. Like I could totally still see him like going back after
he's just
trolling for the
season. He's just laughing hysterically.
The problem with that is
these guys think I believe him.
He has alienated nearly everybody that surrounds Ole Miss, including the money people. And whenever you're coming back and you're thinking about coming back, you ideally would not alienate the money people whenever recruiting is a concern of yours and everything is about paying money for recruits. So that's the one reason I think this is not 4D chess that people like to talk about. But he is so whimsical and so emotional. Nobody can 100% this one way or another. You just can't. If anybody is absolutely certain this is going to happen, I don't believe that person. They lose credibility in this.
Brandon, real quick, Florida fans think you're getting them, right?
Yep.
And Marler, you're close to the LSU situation. What are they saying?
It's a done deal.
I love it.
I mean, but listen, here's I will say this: every person that I have talked to has been very spot on with everything that has happened in Baton Rouge for a very long while. And maybe he doesn't. I think he's got an option for all three on the table. I think my biggest thing is if he stays, like I don't think the like rebuilding the bridge that he's like burned with the fans is a big deal because winning cures all anyway. Like that's not a big deal. I've seen a lot of stuff like on social media, which is like the furthest thing from the truth. It just so happens to be with this coach that's like where he lives constantly because he loves to kind of like stir things up. But I think that one of the things I saw from like an Ole Miss side, and it was like he's going to have to repair this relationship with the fans. No, he's not. Like his job is to go win football games.
But he is, Chris. And what I'm talking about and what they're talking about is he could do absolutely anything he wanted in Oxford, Mississippi. He was a king-like figure in Lafayette County. Now he can come back and winning will cure, but the best he's probably going to be as a transactional coach where you just want wins. You'll never get back to that. That's what they're saying.
But Ole Miss has never been that. So it's like having that in place and going to the playoff is like, I think it's short-sighted from a fan base perspective to be like, And I get it because, like, listen, fan is short for fanatical or fanatic. Like, we all get it. And it would probably happen at most places if he had been like this open, like stringing people along. But the bottom line is to win games. And so, like, if he comes back and you win 11 games next year, people aren't going to care about what happened this past offseason until the Bama job comes up.
Well, you say come back. What if he just stays and they go on a deep playoff run? They'll buy back in 2 weeks.
No, there's no chance. He hurt their feelings.
No, it would be transactional. And the first time he goes for a 4th and 12 on his own 35-yard line in the first half, people are going to ream him over that. Yeah, he's going to do it. I'm just saying it's going to be different. I'm not saying he's not going to be able to survive.
The funny thing to me, the funny angle in all this, I got to know Lane pretty well in his 3 years at Alabama. Everyone trying to predict what the most unpredictable person in college sports is going to do.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the crazy part, yeah.
And that's
which I get it. I mean, it's as erratic as he's been in every other place he's ever been. You know that it feels like it's all manufactured 4D drama, just period. Because this is what we've seen out of him. Saw that at Tennessee with that whole fiasco, USC, Raiders, right? You kind of expect this out of him, while at the same time, I think more people are just tired of it. It's getting old.
And with a lot of coaches, you can follow the money. I think Lane is really serious. I don't think money really matters to him like it matters to 95% of all coaches or all walking around people. I don't think it really affects him, nor do I think the money would be enormously different from Ole Miss, LSU, and Florida. I'm sure it's all going to be rough.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't. His dad's Lane Kiffin, so
go ahead.
He was raised with it.
I think Lane's going to be the highest paid coach in college football, no matter what school he's at. And so I don't like when people go like, oh, well, we're going to outbid this. We're going to outbid this. And it's just like, look, he's going to get whatever he wants from whatever school, financially, anything. It's going to be there. What this is going to come down to, and also, by the way, like I have said before, like I think he's going to come to Florida based on everything I've heard. And I know everybody that talks about every school, they're going to say, hey, based on what I've heard, he's coming to my school. I get it. All that tells me is that nobody actually knows what the hell is going on. He's Lane Kiffin. The only thing that tells me is that we don't know what he's going to do. And look, one side is going to be right? Like if he comes to Florida or if he comes to LSU, that side's going to get to go, we told you the whole time he was coming. We knew it all along. Well, guess what? Even when you were saying that, he didn't know it.
He didn't know.
They didn't.
Yeah,
like,
exactly right.
You didn't know.
Hold on. Breaking news from Pete Nakos. Pete Nakos just tweeted that he has a deal in place and has just signed with your mom. Boom! Roasted.
We will leave that there on that stupid note, and when we return, we'll get into some of the football happening this weekend.
With Diego Pavia's mom?
Hey, look, the holidays always feel a little bit easier when you already know the perfect gift. Maybe you got a dummy like a friend like Chris Marler, and you want to make the perfect gift for them. Omaha Steaks, they make it too simple. Whether you're treating yourself this season or sending something memorable to family and friends, Omaha Steaks delivers handcrafted perfection right to their door. And this week is the best time to jump in because their cyber sale is here and the deals are huge. Look, I'll be real with you guys. I got Omaha Steaks a couple years ago. I absolutely love them. They are great on the grill, easy to cook, flavor to perfection. I love Omaha Steaks. If anybody wants to be a good friend, you can shoot me some Omaha Steaks this holiday season. You can save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com. Get 50% off site-wide and an extra 20% off select favorites during their cyber sale. And then also for an additional $35 off, use our promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That is omahasteaks.com, promo code COLLEGE. Terms apply. See their website for details. All right, gents, we got a few other games we want to get into, so let's get this train kind of back on the tracks here. Corey, some clean old-fashioned hate. You've got some ties to some folks at Georgia Tech. They're both ranked. Georgia's ranked. This game went 8 overtimes last year. Do we get another close nail-biting game?
I don't know. Coming off that Pitt game for Georgia Tech was that was kind of a pitiful showing there, especially for Tech's defense. Georgia's, as Steve likes to say, a rolling ball of butcher knives at this moment. So I don't see that game going into an 8 overtime thriller, no matter what Buster wants to do. I think they're going to have an admirable day offensively, but I think in the end, Georgia is just going to wear them down and beat them in the second half. And we're going to look at this game going, what happened to Georgia Tech? So that's kind of my feel on that. Gunnar Stockton, I think, is going to have a big day for them. Frazier, Bowens as a running duo are going to have a really nice game along with Zachariah Branch. So
everybody else feel good about Georgia?
Go Jackets.
Yeah, I think
I don't
Georgia
want
goes ahead and close this
to.
out.
Like I really don't want to, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I think the offense is going to put up good numbers, which for Georgia Tech, that's all I really care about is their offense. I don't care about their defense, but
how bad would it look for the SEC if Tech put up something like they did last year? And like, because it doesn't matter for Georgia, like the haze in the barn for them getting to Atlanta or finishing the SEC with where they are in the division, but what do you call it, the standings?
I don't think it'll matter that much because Buster has so much familiarity with that scheme because he was on that staff for 4 years. So I think you take that into consideration. You kind of expect it, right?
It does feel weird to think that 11-1 Kirby Smart-led Georgia team could not play for an SEC championship. I mean, that's wild.
That is wild. But
so many teams, man.
You can't lose head-to-head to Alabama, so you can't do it.
If they drop the game against Georgia Tech, are they in danger of not even hosting?
They're in danger of not making the playoffs.
No, they'll make.
No, I think they're in.
They're in. They're seeding. They might have to travel, but that's about it.
They could lose to Georgia Tech and get in the SEC championship game. That could happen.
With a chance to have,
I don't think it will.
I do think that they drop them. I think they drop them a lot if they lose to Georgia Tech. That's the game they gotta win.
But Georgia Tech might be a playoff team themselves.
Let's get to the night game tomorrow night. The night game tomorrow night is the showdown, Lone Star Showdown, A&M versus Texas. Gosh, man, I mean, A&M, I keep saying they keep winning, and yet they still don't get the respect. And this week I've heard everybody and their brother is saying they think Arch Manning and Texas are going to beat them in Austin. And I'm like, A&M, if we keep doubting them, will they keep answering and keep winning? So where are you guys on this one?
I mean, isn't Texas the greatest team ever created to ever happen to the SEC and the God's gift to college football in the South or whatever? I mean, it's kind of basically the way that everybody is glazing them. Though. they're glazing them that hard when it comes to that. I do think that A&M should get more respect for the fact that they actually went undefeated. Granted, everyone they played was on the right side of the top 16 in the SEC. So it's not like they actually had that much of a quote unquote gauntlet to deal with, but at the same time,
they were Oklahoma able to did? Wait. Yeah, no, they did.
Sure, actually, yeah. But so that's like my thing is like they were able to still execute all the way through. That Vanderbilt game was big. That South Carolina comeback, which I can't believe that happened. Still can't believe Shane Beamer still has a job after that, but I digress.
Let's talk about it.
Why don't we respect them? I guess is my question.
I think there's five SEC teams may make the college playoff with Vanderbilt unjustifiably on the outside looking in.
Yeah, come on, committee.
A&M has played none of them.
Come on.
A&M has played none of them.
Jimmy, they haven't played an SEC opponent with a winning record this year. They have played their combined record in the conference play is 11-39. You talked about earlier how all these fans got real mad at factual numbers. I did this yesterday. I was like, hey, guys, this is kind of crazy. And people were like, you know what? Shut up. Your dad doesn't love you. And I was like, yeah, we know that. Okay, what do you want me to do about these rankings? Like 11-39? Dude, they have played 7 games and all 7 teams are in the bottom 8 standings. How's that possible?
Texas is the best SEC team A&M will have played.
Yes, they are.
If Texas wins that game, how far does A&M fall?
I don't know, but transitive property, Florida is better than Texas because Florida beat Texas and Texas A&M beat the crap
transitive
out of
property.
Florida.
All right, Tennessee.
Go ahead. There you go. But I'm just saying it's like I want to say like Texas A&M seem like pretenders, but I've also seen Texas and their offense get their asses handed to them by every team with a good pass rush. Texas A&M has a pretty good one.
Good pass rush.
So I think Texas A&M, like Cassius Howell, he's
great.
He was, I mean, the most disrespectful player I've ever seen against Florida. That's a compliment, by the way. Like I love that stuff. he might do way worse to Texas. And that should terrify Texas fans.
He is a finalist, by the way, for the Lombardi Award, the Bednarik. I mean, for Cassius Howell, you're talking about a guy that really just the light bulb came on this year, and he's been a difference maker. I will say though, Michael Taff, DB for Texas, said this week, asked who would get his Heisman vote if he had one. He said Arch Manning. He thinks
I
Arch
hate
is
the kid so much.
Also, he does drugs.
Kids, but my God, it is that kid he's like a Texas fan somehow snuck into the body of a player, and it's like that's how he speaks about the team. And it's not like coach speak, like, well, no, I really want to pull for my guys. It's like, no, I'm delusional. I'm completely delusional, just like the fan base. God, we barely lost to Georgia. You lost by 25, dude.
Well, as we
Off the top rope.
as we kind of conclude here, guys, let me just run through some of these real quick. Does everybody think Oklahoma wins this week?
I mean, Vandy kind of needs them to get out of the way too. The Oklahoma win though.
Yeah, it'll be a barn.
It'll be
burn.
3-0.
There's no use. There's no use in hoping for LSU. There's just no use. This is not going to happen. It's foolish.
My bad. It'll be 17-0, and we'll score 2 defensive touchdowns because really LSU's offense is
Probably right.
Yep.
Kentucky, Louisville. Louisville keeps losing, and then their best receiver is going to be out. Mark Stoops at Kentucky. They got humbled last week, but this is a rivalry game. It's at Louisville. I think Kentucky gets their 6th win. What do you guys think?
They do.
Or their 7th. Like the.
Oh no!
I'm sorry.
All right.
They're gonna go 6-7 this year.
No.
somehow.
I think they go bowling. I think they can get that win against.
There we go.
Louisville.
I did see that. Did you kick him out? I did see Mark Stoops said earlier this week Connor Boley is coming back next year, so that's already.
Where did he go?
To the transfer portal. Who's going to pay him? I'm curious to what school's going to actually pay him to leave.
Get to know LinkedIn. Oh,
Clemson, South Carolina. Anybody want to take? Are we taking Clemson or taking Carolina?
Carolina, and all of you better agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're a 2.5-point favorite, which is wild. I will say the craziest part of this game is South Carolina is going to have to figure out a way to run the ball effectively. And by effectively, I mean like for 3 to 4 yards a carry if they can. And that, like, as bad as Clemson's been, the draft stock of those 3 players on defense hasn't dropped at all.
No.
But they are a defense that's able to get got. And I think that it would just go a long way if Beamer could, get some momentum rolling for next year's 7-5 season. If he can finish off with a win here against Clemson.
Are they going to forget to set the quarter clock? Are they just going to leave it on 1 the whole game so that he thinks he's in the first quarter?
This might be the last game we see Lenore Sellers too, guys.
Thanks, dude. Let's talk about that. He's going to Kentucky.
He's going to the NFL draft.
Replace Cutter Bowling.
Vanderbilt, Tennessee. I'm so torn here because
Ranked matchup.
I'd love to see Vandy win, but man, in Knoxville, Eric, I feel like Tennessee's going to get this done.
I was going to say, you have the 2 hosts for these shows. Are you just going to gloss over this game? I mean, Vanderbilt's got the biggest game in program history for
About
Vandy.
this game earlier.
It's down
The
the
first
line.
time ever, if we can win this game to get to 10 wins, it'll be first time ever.
Yeah, I think Diego Pavia is obviously a problem. I think he's a really good player. It's not just him. I think his skill's a whole lot better this year. Not just Eli Stowers, who's fantastic. Defensively, kind of hit or miss. Like they've given up 30 points or more in like four games, I think. Like I said earlier, I think that rush stat, they're 5th in the SEC, getting up 105 yards a game. I think it's a bit misleading because a couple of the offenses that actually run the football well, like Auburn and Missouri, just ran it all over them. I think Joey Aguilar can throw it all over that defense, just like Diego Pavia is going to throw it all over Tennessee. I think Joey Aguilar can have a field day through the air. But kind of going back to what you said, Gordy, playing at home, it's senior day. I mean, it doesn't matter, like, typically Tennessee owns a series, right? But it's a rivalry game. Tennessee's going to get up for it, and this crowd wants nothing more than to see Diego Pavia play like crap. So I like Tennessee at home, and it's unfortunate for Vanderbilt and Vanderbilt's fans because it's been a fantastic year. But Vanderbilt needs to win this game and needs to win it convincingly and needs help. Again, the overall storyline, I don't think they're going to get that.
No, I don't think they're going to get a lot of help, but they just need to help themselves to even make the committee make a decision. I mean, I think you get to that precipice right there, and that you can say a lot about that. So, with Diego Pavi, he's electric as they come. Lately, there's a lot of momentum with this offense. They've become explosive. So you have two explosive offenses going at each other.
Two of the best quarterbacks down the field passing 20 yards or more. I mean, the numbers are so similar, so good, elite.
It's unreal. And no one would have said that about Diego Pavi at the beginning of the season, his downfield throwing ability. But here we are. Because he's been a runner, he's been a short to intermediate passer, not much pocket awareness coming into the season. He's developed that over the course. And something after the third quarter of the Texas game, something clicked, and this offense has been on fire since.
If Diego Pavia had another name on the front of his jersey, he would win the Heisman.
He should be in New York. It'll be a crime if he's not in New York.
He should be in New York. One of my buddies, big-time Tennessee fan, was like, didn't know you were locked on Vanderbilt all of a sudden. All you did was talk about Diego Paul. You called him a Heisman contender. I'm like, if he's not a Heisman contender, then what is he? What is he?
34 touchdowns.
He's third best odds or fourth best odds on most books. And, of course, FanDuel. I mean, it's just,
Somebody said this the other day that it's the worst Heisman race we've had. It's because the people that like are talking about college football, especially on social media, are doing it the wrong way. Like it's Julian saying, it's Fernando Mendoza, it's Jeremiah Love, and it's whoever the fourth would be. Like, it should be guys like this. Like, he should absolutely be in New York. And I tell you what's going to happen. They're going to put him up there like they did Stetson Bennett as like a gift to him. It's like he doesn't really deserve to be there or something. And he absolutely does. He should be like a front runner for the award, I think.
And you know who should have been there that year instead of Stetson freaking Bennett, right?
Hendon Hooker.
BS, man. It's ridiculous.
Spencer Rattler.
He's got hurt.
What he did to Tennessee.
The tough part is the people always fall into the best player on best team. And it's not what the Heisman is. It's what player encapsulates. If that team didn't have him, they would be nothing. Ohio State would be fine without saying. I think Notre Dame would still be good without Jeremiah Love. Vanderbilt would be a 2-win team without.
Would be
Diego
nothing
Pavia.
without.
And struggle to do so.
And the cameraman would have nothing to pan to if he wasn't there. So it's like, what are we even talking about?
His mom might still be there, but
everybody's talking about that cameraman was obsessed with her. It's like that cameraman's pointing his camera where he's told to by a producer.
Dude,
we need to talk about that producer.
All cameramen, in my opinion, are total
producer has a little
every
bit of
time they're in a sports game. It's like, all right, pan to blonde, zoom in. You're like,
again, it's the director. It's not the cameraman. It is
Either
the
way,
director
the
telling him to
director's
do
It's the
SEC baseball games are the worst. I mean, that is
yes.
good at me.
Yes.
Real quick, show of hands. Who's riding with Vandy?
Hey, I got some.
Okay. So about half of us.
On
The
board.
other half going to go with Tennessee.
I need this game like oxygen. Vandy being nearly a 10-win team going to Neyland Stadium. I need to see what that looks like.
Might be the best game of the weekend. Might be the best game of the weekend. I think it's going to be really high scoring. I think both teams maybe in the high 40s. High scoring game.
The over. Smash the over.
The sad thing is, to Jimmy's point, like Tennessee's defense has played really well dating back to the Oklahoma game for the most part, and like it's just not going to matter. Like this game is going to be so high scoring.
Both teams are in the hundreds when it comes to pass defense. So I mean, just throw it all out the window.
Yeah. Real quick, guys. Just two more games, real quick. Mizzou, Arkansas. I mean, the ugly game. Everybody going to ride with Mizzou on the road?
I guess.
I think so.
No, you're going to take Arkansas at home?
I'll take Arkansas, I think.
They have not won a game since like.
I'm shocked. I could have swore that Petrino would have gotten a couple wins by now. I'm just shocked that they're winless.
Eric, I thought they were like 4-7 a week ago, and so it's like they're 2-9. I was like, oh.
I know, right? Like again, they score points. Like how in the world have they not stumbled into a win?
Yes.
Having said that, give me Mizzou.
Yeah.
Find ways to lose.
Arkansas's last win came on September 6th against Arkansas State.
Love you, neighbors.
They were 2-0 at that point. And the last one, Brandon, Florida against Florida State.
A closer?
I mean, Mike Norvell can get to a bowl game with a win. Are we riding with FSU here? Okay. Brandon is speechless.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a stupid question. No, I'm not riding with Florida State. I love you, Gordy, but no, I'm going to pick
He'll
Florida.
never ride with Florida State.
I don't care how bad and how boring this offense is and how inept this offense is and how badly they need Rugiet to get something going. Goodness, it's bad. I refuse to pick Florida State here. It's just, I refuse to pick them. I refuse to bank on Mike Norvell, especially like the way he was such a little, not going to say it, after the game last year when he was like, don't plant that flag here. Stop somebody, win the game, do something. I don't care. I can't respect that. I don't respect that. I don't respect that conference or that fan base. And I hope the absolute worst for all of them forever. Thanks.
Minus the Rugia drop there. Brandon gave me the same spill on our crossover last week. I just can't pick Tennessee. Won't pick Tennessee. Can't pick Georgia to win this game. Won't pick Georgia.
Whoa. I picked Georgia.
Okay, well, who was the other example then? You said somebody else.
I was the closest one, you idiot.
I picked Georgia. This isn't an I can't pick Florida. This is I can't trust Florida State either. Like I don't trust either of these teams. If I can't trust either of them, I'm taking mine that actually at least looks horrible, but plays people. You know.
Yeah, so everybody else, we all with Florida State.
Yeah,
no,
Florida State. Last question, and we need to put a straw poll here. We got 8 of us. Raise your hand if you think next week Lane Kiffin is the head coach at Ole Miss. Raise your hand.
Well, I'm the only one. Okay,
Eric and Jay. Okay, so we got 2.
Can we add the little caveat of will he be coaching them or like will he have announced a job elsewhere?
Okay,
if it does end up he leaves.
Next season, where is he coaching at Ole Miss?
Alabama.
So that we got 2.
Alabama's actually been on my list of teams too, but we gotta wait.
Raise your hand if you think next season Lane Kiffin is coaching at LSU. I'll go with him. Jimmy, Marler, and me. That's 3. Raise your hand if you think Lane Kiffin is coaching at Florida next year. Brandon, Steven, and Corey.
So 3-3-2. Wow.
This is
what about North Texas?
Give me Florida. Give me Alabama. I'll take Alabama as a wild card.
He's going to throw the ball off and go Oregon State.
Kalen DeBoer is very much employed still, so we shall see on that.
Kalen DeBoer's about to go to Penn State.
You can be a new lion.
That is not happening. One writer in Pennsylvania said that.
I was literally dropped my mic drop.
All right, gents, that's going to do it for this edition of the Squad Show. Remember to follow and subscribe to your favorite SEC team. We'll be covering your favorite teams all throughout the offseason and postseason, and I'll have you covered with every day with Locked On SEC, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network.